Mystery exploration. Darkness. History. Darkest side.
For centuries, humanity has looked up at the stars and asked one question: does God exist? The debate has never faded, and perhaps it never will, but in every age, every culture, and every heart, the sense of something greater than ourselves has remained. Today, with science advancing at lightning speed and philosophy digging deeper into the mysteries of existence, the question is still alive. But if we look closely, with reason, with honesty, and with courage, the evidence that God exists is far stronger than the case against him. Let's start with something we cannot deny: existence itself. Everything we see around us, the trees, the oceans, the planets, the galaxies, came from somewhere. Science tells us that the universe had a beginning. The Big Bang Theory is not a religious idea, but a scientific one, and it clearly shows that time, space, and matter all had an origin. But here lies the problem: how can something come out of absolute nothing? Nothing does not create something. If the universe had a beginning, then it must have had a cause, and that cause cannot be bound by time, space, or matter, because those things only came into existence after the Big Bang. That means the cause of the universe must be timeless, spaceless, immaterial, and powerful beyond imagination. In simple words, the cause sounds a lot like God. Some may argue that maybe the universe created itself, or maybe it came from a multiverse, but those ideas only push the question further back. If our universe came from another universe, where did that one come from? If time has always existed, then why did the universe begin only billions of years ago? Why not an eternity ago? The deeper you push the question, the clearer it becomes: there must be a first cause that exists beyond all natural explanations. But the argument doesn't stop at origins. Let's look at design. Everywhere we look in nature, we see precision, order, and purpose. The laws of physics are finely tuned. Gravity, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces: if any of these constants were just slightly different, life would be impossible. Imagine tuning a radio to a specific frequency. If you move the dial just a tiny fraction, the signal disappears. The universe is tuned with far more accuracy than any radio. The chance that all this happened by accident is astronomically small. Some scientists call it the fine-tuning of the universe, and many admit it is one of the most powerful arguments for a designer. Again, the description points to God. Life itself deepens the mystery. The code of DNA is not just random chemicals sticking together, it is information. It functions like a language, carrying instructions for building every cell, every organ, every living being. Information, in every other experience we have, always comes from a mind. Words come from writers, codes come from programmers, messages come from messengers. To say that DNA, the most complex information system known to man, arose without intelligence is to defy logic itself. The fingerprints of a creator are written into the very fabric of life. Now let's step into philosophy. Beyond science, the human heart longs for meaning, morality, and truth. If there is no God, then everything is ultimately an accident. Morality is just a product of evolution, a survival trick, not something truly binding. But deep down, we all know some things are absolutely right or wrong. We know that kindness is better than cruelty, that justice is better than injustice. If morality is real, then it cannot come from blind forces of nature. It must come from a moral lawgiver, one who stands above us and gives value and worth to our choices. That lawgiver is God. Some argue that belief in God is simply wishful thinking, a way for humans to comfort themselves. But if that were the case, we should expect religions and spiritual ideas to look the same everywhere, a kind of universal dream. Instead, what we find is that across cultures and centuries, people independently arrive at the idea of God, often with striking similarities. This suggests that belief in God is not just a cultural accident but a reflection of something real, a truth deeply woven into human existence. Science, too, despite its attempts at neutrality, keeps pointing back to the divine. The more we discover about the universe, the more questions arise that science alone cannot answer. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why are the laws of nature so orderly and rational? Why is the universe comprehensible to the human mind? Albert Einstein himself said that the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. It is almost as if the universe was designed to be discovered, as if the human mind was meant to search for truth. At this point, some may say, if God exists, why can't we see him? But the truth is, we do see him, in creation, in conscience, in reason, and in the order of the universe. To demand that God reveal himself physically is to misunderstand who he is. A being beyond time, space, and matter is not limited to appearing in the ways we demand. Yet throughout history, countless individuals have experienced encounters, miracles, and transformations that point directly to the divine. While skeptics dismiss these as imagination, the sheer volume and consistency of such testimonies cannot be ignored. Faith, then, is not blind. It is not about believing in something without evidence. Faith is about trusting in what the evidence points to, even when we cannot see everything clearly. We trust in love even though we cannot measure it. We trust in justice even though it cannot be placed under a microscope. In the same way, belief in God is both reasonable and rational, grounded in logic, science, philosophy, and experience. And so, the question remains, can God be proven logically or scientifically? The honest answer is that while science cannot place God in a test tube or under a microscope, the evidence all around us strongly points to his existence. Logic demands a first cause. Science reveals design. Philosophy requires morality. And human experience testifies to something greater than ourselves. All these lines converge to one conclusion: yes, God exists.